Hello, this is Cody with Paranormality Magazine. I'm here with Jade and Mandy from Ghost Club Paranormal. Hi,
Hello. Hi.
thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having us. First
you.
off, I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, me too.
You must not have a lot to do on a Friday night if you're spending it talking with
That's
me.
what happens when you get older.
Actually, we are in my office right now, but we have like a ton of equipment already charging. We have an investigation tomorrow, so that's how we spend our weekends. So Fridays is just like prep days.
I understand. It's like I saw somebody had on Amazon. It was a charging block, but it had you could plug 32 different devices into it. You could plug
What?
MacBooks.
That's like, yeah,
Wait.
that's talking Mandy's language.
I got one of those rolling toolboxes and it's got a power strip. So I have all my equipment up there with a power strip, and it's just
Nice.
Gosh.
I'm the person that brings just not even a charging cable. I'll bring
She's the
two
worst.
batteries.
I have a suitcase full of power strips and duct tape and batteries, and she's got nothing.
Yeah, I know. Mandy literally comes with like duffel bags full of equipment. And I remember the first time we actually investigated together, I just picked up my backpack and threw it on, and she was like, where's the rest of your equipment? And I was like, this is it.
Hold on, I got 2 suitcases in the bag.
Yeah.
Mandy doesn't travel light now, does she?
No.
No, but it's been super, super helpful for sure having Mandy on the team, because I mean, I feel like I don't even pull equipment out anymore because you were just on it, grab it, your equipment, REM pod, got it. I'm like, this is nice.
So how did you two meet? Because I know for the longest time you were Jade, it was just you on, and then you would have some people on every once in a while, and now Mandy is a regular.
Yeah. So did you want to tell that story?
I'm trying to think. We met at the
PAX.
Yeah, PAX.
Yeah.
That was our first meeting.
Yeah. So the first time we met each other was at PAX, which was a paranormal con basically, and it was up in Virginia City, and it was just a weekend of investigations.
Yeah.
And basically the public could come and do different investigations and stuff like that. And I can't remember the very first memory of you, but I definitely remember we were investigating in the chapel, and me and Mandy were sitting next to each other in a room full of guys, and we both heard a voice right next to us, and we barely even knew each other, and we both just jump up and grabbed onto each other. We're like, what was? And then we were instantly bonded after that.
Trauma bonded.
Yeah.
It was the loudest hey I think I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Just disembodied voice.
Yeah. And we were
next to us.
Yeah, we were the only ones on one side, then everyone else was on the other side, and then everyone was like, shush, 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 calm down, and we're like, no, that was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard a disembodied voice. I've gone back and reviewed evidence and heard a voice that wasn't there, but I don't know how I would react.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal when you hear it with your own ears. But I mean, Mandy, I think you're a little bit more used to hearing disembodied voices. Because even when she comes over to my house, she'll be like, what? And I'm like, I didn't say anything. It gets very spooky when Mandy comes over to your house.
Yeah.
Note to self: don't invite Mandy over.
Got it. Yeah, if you don't want to know what's happening in your house, don't let me come over.
Funny story. So I bought one of those S boxes.
Oh yeah.
And I was playing with it one day, and my 7-year-old son came up and just started asking it questions. He's like, hey, and you could hear real quick, hey, come. And then before I even got a chance to say anything, he's like, do you want to be my friend? And he got a yes response. And I'm like, no, we don't do that here. Not here. That's a no. So
no, that's scary actually. Like
no.
I don't even know what I would do. He's just like inviting like random spirits to come be his friend. That's dangerous. It's definitely dangerous.
now, Mandy, do you have just spirits just follow you or all the time?
Yeah, all the time. My apartment has become a spiritual hub for everybody. Spirits that I've met during investigations will kind of just linger home with me. I get a lot of hitchhiker spirits, which is essentially just spirits that randomly show up. So I've had quite a few that have followed me throughout the years. I can't even say unfortunately because I'm just so used to it now.
Yeah, sometimes like you'll pick up on spirits like as we're on our way to an investigation, and even up to like a couple days before the investigation, things will start to get weird. And then I think we're at the point now where we're just starting to figure out like when these weird things are happening with Mandy, and then every now and then like something will happen with me. But on those few days leading up to an investigation, that it's actually like to do with the investigation coming up.
Yeah.
It's been like, that's new for me, but it's been really, really bizarre.
And you just released a video a couple of days ago. Now, when people see this interview, it's going to be in January. So it was a couple months ago, but you went to the Clown Motel.
Yeah, why not?
Did you have any bizarre things? I mean, obviously that place is bizarre in itself, but did you have anything bizarre happen before you went there?
Oh my gosh, this is such a difficult question because I feel like bizarre things are happening all the time.
Yeah.
What happened before the Clown Motel?
Remember when we were driving out there, all that stuff was happening on the road?
Yeah.
The whole drive up, we were having just the most insane things happening to us.
It felt like we were in a fever dream the entire way, like in the desert going up. There was like this one, we saw like a police car, and then I don't know if this has anything to do with our actual investigation, but it was just weird. We saw 7 police cars in a row pulling, like it was just like we were like, oh look, a cop car. Oh, a cop car. Oh, and then like we like look, and it's just a whole row of cop cars. But then there was somebody like a little further down, like laying on the road. Like it was bizarre.
We just had a lot of weird experiences, and I noticed that now with the investigation coming up tomorrow, we've had some really bizarre experiences again the last 2 days, and so it's just like it keeps happening. But going out to Tonopah in itself is kind of bizarre. It's such an eerie town, and
strange things are happening every day. I feel like there's never a day in Tonopah. Have you never been before?
I have never been. So like all of my paranormal investigations have been in the Midwest, obviously since I'm in Indiana. But that, I mean, the Clown Motel and the Goldfield where you guys have gone definitely are on my list of I want to go. Just, I mean, the Clown Motel, I mean, it's creepy in itself. And yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of clowns, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go to the Clown Motel. I feel like it's an interesting place to investigate for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I feel like a lot of people go there thinking that they're going to get in contact with like very dark, scary spirits. But honestly, like in our experience there was one questionable spirit, but we never like truly got to the bottom of that. Maybe that could be for another time, you know? But yeah, for the most part, like we, at the end, we had the most insane, it was insane, like with Bob, the previous owner, who lives in one of the clowns now, apparently. And we didn't know who Bob was. He came through the recorder, and then the current owner stepped in. He just overheard us saying, Bob, who's Bob? And he was like, oh, Bob, he was the previous owner. Yeah, he's here. Oh yeah, he's in one of the statues. And we're like, what? It was bizarre. But then the second Bob came up, it was just lights were turning on and just equipment was going off like crazy. And it was Bob, and he was there, and he was just having a good time because he loved that place. And that was interesting. That was really fun.
It looks like it's a fun place to investigate, just because the creep factor with all the clowns. Like a lot of people have a fear of clowns, so when you're doing an investigation and then clowns, I wouldn't say that I'm fearful of clowns. I'm just not a big fan of them, especially that many.
Yeah,
I'm not either.
Yeah, I freaking love clowns.
You know, it's weird though, because I feel like the lobby has like what, over 700 clowns in the lobby.
I feel like more than 7,000.
They hold a world record for the most clowns in one room, if I'm not mistaken. But I honestly, that wasn't even the scary part. The paintings on the walls in the rooms, like these faces and the clown faces on the walls. You're like trying to sleep and you're staring at the wall and there's just a clown face staring back at you. It's like terrifying.
It was the most chaotic investigation from right off the bat, for sure. Like the second we got there, we were investigating with Barrier Beyond. They were in the room next to us, and the shower just turned on, or the bath technically, like turned on by itself. And it was just like constant water like coming out, and it was like filling up the bathtub, and I'm like, get somebody here, like it's gonna overflow. And it was just crazy. And then the people that also work at the Clown Motel, they were all everybody that we talked to were like, oh, that's this spirit, or oh, that's this one, like just talk to them. And we're like, that's wild. That's one of the most, it's just wild. It's just wild.
And when you go to an investigation and the regulars are like employees or tour guides, when they validate what you're getting, that makes it so much more fun, and you feel vindicated, like, oh, I'm not crazy that this just happened.
Yeah. And that happens more oftentimes than not as well,
which is great.
When we're at the Goldfield Hotel.
Yeah, the Goldfield Hotel.
Yeah.
The hotel, she's not the owner, but she's kind of the liaison caretaker. But she was able to validate a lot of experiences that we had with her own experiences. So that was super helpful.
Yeah, Mandy heard like dragon above. This was more at the end of the night, and we had brought the caretaker back in because we were going to take her upstairs and just the last part of the investigation, because she'd been like choked up there and things. And when we were about to go upstairs, Mandy was off by herself, and she heard dragon noises like come from above her. And that's when, she was like, oh my gosh. So we kind of like ran and we're like, what's going on? She said, I just heard like something like dragging across the floor. And instantly, like the caretaker was like, nope, like I'm done here. And I'm like trying to get it out of her. And I'm like, what happened? Like, clearly this is like striking something in you. And she was like, nope, I won't talk about it. I don't even talk about it in Goldfield. And we were like, oh, like, what? Okay. And it took her 2 weeks to finally reach out, because I thought we were never going to hear that story. And a couple of weeks later, she did reach out, and she said, yeah, the last people that were here heard what sounded like bodies being dragged like across the floor, and that all hell broke loose. And that's pretty much like their warning sign that whatever that dark entity is that lives in the basement is basically out roaming in the hotel. So it's very, very dangerous. And the dragon sound is actually like a warning from the other spirits to let us know, like, now's your time to get out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it
really?
was insane.
Yeah, I taking Goldfield off my list. So when you were at the Goldfield, Mandy, like, were you being bombarded by spirit?
Yeah, that usually happens almost any location, but definitely the Goldfield.
Yeah.
I had been there previously a few years back and had some really crazy experiences. And so kind of going back to what we talked about, how leading up to a few days prior to each investigation, things start happening. I was having that very like personal things with the Goldfield Hotel calling to me before we even left for that trip. So I was really excited to get in there. And yeah, it's like walking into a room full of people and all the people are like, hi, let me talk to you, you know? So it can be a lot. You got to sort through so many different energies and you're like, okay, who are you? Who are you? That's great.
So when did you realize that you were a medium or psychic? When was your first experience with that?
When I was a little kid, it started, I mean, this has been going on since I was really young. I had 2 near-death experiences when I was younger, pretty close together. And after that, I remember being able to hear things. I would hear people talking and nobody would be there. And it was very terrifying as a little kid. And then that slowly evolved into hearing things and hearing people talking to actually seeing people, seeing physical people. Specifically, the man that would stand in the corner of my bedroom when I was a little kid. So, and I know a lot of people have that same experience too, but yeah, the man who would stand there and talk to me in the middle of the night. And it slowly just started evolving as time went on over the years. However, it really wasn't until I got older, into like my early 20s, that I actually was like, oh, wait, I can use this and I can do things with this, you know? Because there weren't really a lot of, I mean, there were well-known psychic mediums, but it wasn't as popular as it is now. And so it wasn't honestly until probably about 6 or 7 years ago that I really started taking classes and trying to like further and develop my abilities.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. This used to be very taboo, the paranormal community, and it's now, I feel, I said this in an interview actually a couple of days ago, like now I think we're in the golden age of the paranormal because it's so mainstream, it's so like part of culture now here in the United States, at least. So it's not, I mean, obviously people still like, oh, you're a paranormal investigator, you're kind of weird, but I mean, whatever. But back then they would think you were, 15, 20 years ago, they would think you're crazy. So, I mean, we're making progress. And then on top of that, the technology that we have to investigate,
Yeah. I mean, that was something that I don't really talk about a lot, but when I was younger, I would, because I'm also a trance medium, so I can let spirit into me and physically use me as a channel. And that would happen to me as a kid. And it was like, how do I explain to my parents, hey, I think a spirit's taking over me, without being institutionalized or, needing medication or something, So, and I know that there's a lot of people in the medium community who have a lot of the same stories where it's just, that was something that wasn't accepted and we couldn't talk about. And so I'm so glad that we're moving in a direction where this is so mainstream and just so widely, it's becoming widely accepted, which is great.
I don't know when it never became accepted, because it was a big thing like back in like the 60s, and that's when like the Ouija boards were kind of like newer. I mean, like look at like Dan Aykroyd, like he was brought up in a very like his families would have like seances all the time, and then that was the whole idea behind Ghostbusters, so it's just like, and then it just went quiet.
It went quiet, and then we hit like 80s 90s where it was like, no,
so something happened. I guess the pendulum just swung, and now we're back into paranormal, and I hope it sticks this time.
I mean,
imagine if it didn't fizzle down. Like, we could be so much further along in the research of it all. So,
and that's the thing. A lot of people don't take the paranormal seriously that are in the community. There are people that will fake evidence, are quick to scream demon. Zach Bagans. Anyway, Did I say that out loud? I am sorry. But here's the thing. It's paranormal science. It's a science. And we're trying to answer the questions, what happens when we die, you know, and when people don't take it seriously, then the people that are outside of the community don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we're the punching bag for the actions of a few. I mean, like the Warrens were problematic.
Mm-hmm.
They were extremely problematic. They wouldn't let skeptics, review their evidence. They faked a lot of stuff. So it's nice to see because I watched, I'm a fan. I was a fan and that I reached out. It's nice to watch you guys go in and know that how you're reacting is legit and it's just raw emotion and it's not hyped up for a camera.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point. We were just talking about this earlier, reactions. And I know some people don't really like the reactions that, those honest reactions, because yeah, we do get really excited sometimes. And, I talk to spirit all day, but if I hear a physical voice, or if I see something, I'm going to be excited. And, so we have those natural reactions where we may yelp or scream or just, the Pikachu face, wide eyed, look. And it's because we're genuinely just like, oh my gosh, this is, this defies the laws of physics. Like this is happening,
Yeah. It would be much easier for us to go into a location, film for 3 hours, set a bunch of stuff up and fake a bunch of stuff and put that out. Ghost Club would probably be more popular, to be honest. But what we do is when we go to a location, I mean, Klein Motel was like, we filmed for 14 hours, 12 to 14 hours or something like that.
Time.
It was a long time to film, and then we had to squeeze it into a 1 hour episode. And of course, we did debunk certain things, and if there was a noise that, yes, that's not it. But when you're getting that moment where you get that intelligent response, like not just one, but multiple intelligent responses, and that a spirit has entered and is willing to communicate with you, that's when we get excited. And I think that is what comes through. And I think that's how you know that we're genuine about it. And you can tell by the sweat on our face and the mascara down our face that we went in there and we've worked hard to get that evidence.
And you do. And I watched the Goldfield, I watched the Clown Motel, and it was just, you could tell you guys are genuine. Like, and you get excited. Like, when I get intelligent responses, I get scared. So, like, I told this story to Jade, and I'll tell Mandy. So, my first time ever paranormal investigation, I went with Ghost Hunts USA to the Indiana State Sanatorium, and we were doing a session in the nursing home portion of the building, and they put me in the nurses station, and complete dark, no one around, and there's a linen closet. The door opens up and like this white misty nurse figure just comes out and just walks right past me. I screamed like a little girl. My wife was down the hall. She was laughing. So, and then they moved me out into the intersection of these 4 hallways, and that nurse figure came out of the nurse's station, came up to me, put its hand on my shoulder, and then disappeared.
Oh,
and
I just got chills.
Oh
my God.
6 other people witnessed that happening. So it's not just like,
talk about validation.
That was last July. I went back in April. We're doing a dual Estes session with the in front of the nurse's station, and I'm filming. And I pull out my digital camera and I start taking pictures. and the one girl, Brittany, yells, "Pictures," just out of nowhere. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And then while this is going on, the one guy that was with us had no idea about that previous interaction that I had. He's like, "Cody, I don't want to freak you out, but I just saw this like white figure move behind you in the nurse's station." I was like sitting in front of it where the window is. So yeah, yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were chosen on that investigation for sure.
Yeah.
Didn't you say something like, maybe not, maybe I'm remembering the story wrong, but was there not like that she touched you and then like you felt better or something like that?
Yeah, so my shoulder,
That was it.
my left shoulder was a little sore because I was an EMT at the time, so I was, picking up patients and stuff. The next day it was completely fine. It didn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a healing spirit just came out.
Wow.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
That's
when you
special. That's a once in a lifetime. For sure.
yeah, so I'm going back here in a month from today actually. So
I'm so jealous. How exciting.
I told Jade, like, come out here. We'll absolutely investigate.
I want to go there.
Yeah, we talked about it as well. Well, we talked about like Waverly Hills Sanatorium, possibly doing like that. And I don't know, we've been kind of like playing with the idea with like public investigations as well.
Yeah.
See if anybody wants to come investigate with us. I don't know. We've not really done it before other than PEX, and that was like a while back. So who knows? I don't know. We need to get our thinking caps on.
So, Mandy, you were actually taught by a famous psychic. You took classes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
a couple. No, yeah, no, I'm so open about it.
I filled the beans to him a while back. I forgot about that.
Yeah, Cindy Keza, she's been my mentor for over a year and a half now. So I've been mentoring with her and a couple other people, Lisa Williams and Tony Stockwell, April Nicole, all the big names and stuff like that. But Cindy just like changed my life working with her. It was incredible.
Do you feel that you're a better psychic now that you've had Cindy as a mentor?
Oh yeah. I specifically wanted Cindy as my mentor because she's one of the few people that does psychic mediumship and paranormal investigations. Like she does both, and there's not a lot of people who do that or who do it enough to know what they're talking about. And so I really wanted to learn from her, and she taught me so much, really about how to balance the two, on how to be able to still maintain that connection with spirit while also focusing on your equipment and your camera. And so it was so incredibly helpful to have her, to work with her as long as I did.
Sometimes I get jealous of psychics. Like I would say I'm sensitive, but I'm not like in tune to spirits like a psychic is. But you guys can just go into a haunted location and you got a leg up on people like Jade and I, which is and I there's so much equipment that you can use in the paranormal world, but sometimes I feel the best piece of equipment is your own body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell. And I always I recommend people just to, even if they don't want to claim that they're a psychic medium or they're not full blown into it, to still take classes, like classes with Cindy or other people, just because whether you're full blown into it or not, it still teaches you how to use your body. So that way you can go into a location and be like, "Oh, I feel something here." That way you can open yourself up more so you can be more receptive to what's going on in the building and with the spirits. you know, I know you've definitely have opened yourself up more.
Oh, for sure.
A lot.
Yeah, I mean, when I very first started this, like the YouTube channel, I didn't really like start, you know, saying what I felt for like about a year or something like that. And then I noticed that I should, then something would happen. I'd be like, I wish I would have said that because it makes sense now. So now, like, if I feel something, I say it. And then same with obviously Mandy, that's what she's been taught to do, is say what she feels as well. But it's so important to like say it out loud, because I noticed once I started doing that, activity really started to ramp up. And it got to the point like I felt confident that I can go into an investigation and just switch it on like that. And having Mandy on board, who has also mastered that, is just like, I mean, one of our recent investigations, like we told the woman at the location, like she's like, well, let's like hopefully they come out for you tonight, and we're like, we're not even worried about it. And yeah, we go in there, and by the end of that investigation, she's like, that is the most insane thing I've ever seen. We've had investigators come in here before, and this has just been the most amazing, you know, the most amazing responses that we've ever received. So it's like, yes, I was like, I'm so glad that they showed up for us, because I felt like kind of, I don't know, I guess a little big-headed when I told her that, like, oh, that's fine, we'll get something. But no, it's coming really easy for us, which is like, definitely don't take it for granted. But yeah, I think we're very, very lucky in that sense to have the kind of dynamic that we do.
And you guys have only known each other for a couple of years, but like, it seems like you guys have been best friends from childhood. That's what it seems like seeing you interact, you know, right now or in during your investigations. It's almost like, no, there's no way they've had to have known each other for their whole lives, but that's not the case.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, I think our thing is like, one major thing is honesty. And like, we've talked about this before, obviously we talked about it before, but it's okay to disagree. It's not a negative thing.
Yeah.
And I think that we both just really, really understand that. And, you know, honesty is the biggest thing. And obviously we have like a ton of fun. But I think like the actual foundation is on like that trust and honesty. I think that that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think that we've being, you know, navigating this community, the paranormal community, can be tricky. And there's a lot of varying personalities, and you're trying to make it work with people and find your way and mesh, and it doesn't always go well. And so I think by the time that we met, we both were just in a position where, gosh, it would just be nice to just do this and have fun. And I think our biggest inspiration is Project Fear. Watching Project Fear, seeing how much fun that they have, right? They look like they're having the time of their lives in their videos, and even outside of the paranormal world on their Instagrams and stuff. And that was something that we were just like, gosh, wouldn't it be nice to just investigate and have fun and like trust the person that you're like doing this with? And so having that foundation going into it, I think just really helped us out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a past life connection in here somewhere.
Probably is. Or we're both probably aliens or something that. I don't know. Sometimes it just works. Yeah.
You bring up a good point. You got to have fun while investigating. Like, I have investigated with several different groups, and some are more fun than others. You know, I was with Trips. It's the Three Rivers Investigative. I probably said their name wrong. Anyway, they're a TAPS affiliated team right here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Teresa's gonna probably kill me, but it's okay. And we went to Poasttown Elementary in Middletown, Ohio, and she kept like jumping out and scaring me the whole night. Like, I had to go downstairs to change out a battery in my camera, and I came back up, and I'm like, I think I can hear them. And all of a sudden she just jumps out, and I screamed. It was embarrassing, but
Wow,
That's the
I'm so sorry.
and no, it's hilarious. I got her back though. In the doll room. It was perfect. So but yeah, you gotta have fun. It gets
Yeah.
like, because when you go into, at least for me, you go into a place for 10 hours, you're only really getting about two hours at most of real like activity,
Mhm.
and the rest of the time is just downtime, like quiet. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that they'll watch these shows and they think, oh wow, they must be getting all this activity all night, but in reality, you know at least for me, it's not the case. You get 1 or 2 hours worth of activity and you're excited. I have cat balls. I get excited when those things start lighting up.
Heck
Like,
yeah.
now when they're in my basement in my house and there's nothing around and they start going out, that's a different story. But and that has happened. I had one sitting on my bookshelf behind me, and I was like editing video, and I don't know why it was on, but I just saw it start lighting up like in my peripheral, and I look and it's just, I'm like,
That's weird. Maybe it turned itself on maybe it turned itself on.
I don't know. I've had a lot of weird things happen with cat balls. Like I had one go off for 5 minutes straight
Oh.
during an investigation,
Mm.
and I chalked it up as a malfunction. But then I brought it home and I couldn't recreate it
Right.
whatsoever. I like put them all in like a toolbox and I kept shaking it and would sit it down, and they would all shut off after their time, pick it back up. And I did that for a good hour and I could not get it to recreate the 5 minutes. So was it a malfunction or was it a spirit having fun?
Yeah. Man,
love
that's more than what I would do.
Oh my god. I'm gonna start putting cat balls up in my apartment.
No. They would be going
So-
off constantly.
I know.
Jay, what is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Oh, good question. I think REM pod. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so standard when it comes to this kind of stuff. I think a good old REM pod, especially if there's two. Like it does help if there's two REM pods, double the fun.
Yeah.
But if they're both going off and if they're both at like separate parts of the room, like that's what I look for anyway. I like to see one REM pod backed up with another REM pod. But yeah, I don't know. I just like the yes or no answers. I feel like the different patterns and beeps also kind of gives me I don't know if you feel this way or if any other investigator feels this way, but it gives you a kind of idea of the spirit's personality, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if it's kind of like like if it's really aggressive and won't stop, and if you ask it to stop and it doesn't stop, you kind of know what kind of spirit you're about
Pushy.
to yeah. Or if it's like a child, then it's a little bit more delicate and just kind of it tests the water a little bit. That's what I like about it.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah. That was the really long answer for that.
No,
Yeah.
but that
No, that's a great answer. Mandy, what is your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Okay, my obelisk. I love
Mhm.
my obelisk. I've built a special relationship with it. I like if I had to bring one piece with me everywhere, that's what I'm taking.
Yeah. Until it says your name.
Until it says my name. And I'm like, okay.
In the deepest, darkest depths of the basement. Gosh, yeah. That was
Yeah, that's like I've had my S box say my name. I was doing a solo in a closet at a former Knights of Pythias temple.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing an hour-long solo in there where they have caught pictures of a female apparition. And it said my name 3 times. And people are like, oh, that's just radio. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of northern Indiana. How often are you going to hear the name Cody come across? Like, if I was out in Cody, Wyoming, yeah, that'd be a different story. But I'm, so, and then I was on a residential case and we were using the Phasm box and it said my name a ton. Said my partner Doug's name and it said the homeowner's name. And yes. Yeah. So
That's
like when you get those,
exciting, you know.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like they recognize you. No, it's. I mean, I feel like I would take that as a sign that they're going to try and communicate with you specifically that night, and that's kind of what you want, even though it's kind of scary. But it's when it starts saying your name, like, yes, like.
The only time I didn't like hearing my name, like truthfully did not like it, I was at Zach Bagans' museum and I was in the room with Peggy the doll and my name came through her spirit box clear as day. And I was like, oh my God.
Know that.
I was like, make sure I say bye to Peggy, make sure I cut the cord. Like, oh God.
That's weird because I went to visit there like a while back and we were in the room and that spirit box didn't say anything.
Oh yeah,
No,
like
one word.
so clear, and everyone looked at me, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I was just in Vegas I went to Los Angeles and Vegas back in May, and I'm not a big Zach Bagans fan, but I almost wanted to go.
Museum's amazing. Whether you're a fan or not, you have to go. It's so incredible.
It really is. Like when you
Yeah.
go, I mean, even if you're like you're a true crime fan and all that kind of stuff, like just to actually see these objects in front of that was my favorite part anyway. It wasn't even the haunted objects, it was like the true crime serial killer. Like it was just fascinating to be near that stuff.
Okay, so next time I go to Vegas, I will go.
And if you can't do the flashlight tour at night, it's expensive, but it's worth it.
Is it?
Yeah, that's where you investigate.
Yeah, you get 45. You get an hour and a half to investigate the building, and it's like free reign. So you can go wherever you want, and you can like lock yourself in an exhibit and investigate. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, then I might have to do that. I'll just put it on the wife's credit card. She won't.
Yeah,
it's a business expense.
Taxes, yeah.
It's a tax write-off.
Exactly.
So what would you guys say? I know you brought up Waverly and stuff. Like, what would you say your guys' like dream location to go investigate that you haven't been to?
I haven't. That's hard.
I have a couple, but we've never talked about this. Like
we haven't. I have no
investigations. Idea. Okay, so I've got two. One for the US and one for the UK. And the US one is 1,000% the Playboy Mansion. I need to investigate the Playboy Mansion. There's so many like proper paranormal stories from the girls who lived there, the things that they would experience, and it's never been investigated before. I also think that it just holds a dark energy to it that I really just want to like figure that out. Yeah, so kind of interested. I know that's not like a typical answer, but it's a fun one.
But we're not looking for typical answers. We're looking for out of the ordinary.
Very true. And the second one is I just want to go back to Scotland and investigate Scotland. I really want to do the Edinburgh Vaults, which was like the underground Edinburgh, obviously what Edinburgh is like built on top of. And that's where when the plague happened, they just kind of shoved everybody, like families, murderers, and all that in one like place, and then just patched it all in and just left them all to die. And yeah, that's a pretty crazy story. I mean, it's a long story, but it's a pretty crazy story. And I've been there a bunch of times, but never actually investigated in there. Only a handful of people have investigated in there. Yeah, so
that's fun. I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
let's do it.
2025. We're manifesting.
Are you Mandy, are you worried about that going there? Like, because you're like, you'll be bombarded.
No, you know what? I love it though. I love it so much. Even the scenarios where like I get sick or something happens, I'm still like, I love this so much, you know, because I'm just so grateful to be able to do what I do. But I like the heavier energy places. I don't know why. I don't know. I like it.
Then you would love Indiana State Sanatorium.
I have been telling her I want to get back east so bad. And I want to do, like, I got a little taste. I went to Ashmore Estates in Illinois, and that was just like, a whole new world for me because, we don't have places like that out here. And so I want to go back east so bad and do just some of these big locations.
So not to make you jealous. So where I live, first off, I live 5 minutes away from the Bell Mansion.
That's so cool.
I live 2.5 hours away from Eloise. I live 3 hours away from Indiana State Sanatorium. I live 4 hours away from Waverly. I live an hour and 45 minutes away from Randolph. So I'm like, I told Jade the last time we talked.
You have spare room by any chance?
I actually do. Like, so you can sleep in my son's room because he lives with his mom.
Oh, I was going to say that's a spare room if you're kicking your son out.
No. So he lives with his mom during the week. So if you come on a weekend, you might have to share it with an 8-year-old. But he loves ghosts.
By the way, who's inviting spirit ghosts to be his friend.
Yes, and he went on his first investigation back in June. So he went to the Bell Mansion.
I love that.
And there's it's a good one, but it's sad too because there's a little boy spirit there. And he was actually playing with my son. Like there's toys up in that room and the cat balls were going on. He had a blast. And he actually, we're going back to the Bell in November. So it should be a fun one.
That's cool.
I love that.
Can we bring a kid along on an investigation? I don't know. We're gonna need to find one somewhere.
There's a lot of places that like Post Town, that's that school down in Middletown, Ohio. They have kid tours, and you can actually bring kids during your investigations. The Bell Mansion once a month has a junior paranormal investigation.
So crazy. I didn't know that. That's fun.
Yeah,
that's good to do that. The future generation. Oh,
I know, it's so cool. Yeah. So we were talking about. So Ashmore's the only one on the East Coast that you've been to, or have you been to some others?
Yeah, Ashmore is the only one that I've been to.
What's your dream investigation?
Oh, there's so many places I want to go. Like I love jails and I love prisons, jails. I love the sanatoriums. But let me give you a weird one. Okay, so my dream weird location would either be a Abraham Lincoln site, like either his home that he owns, his home in Springfield, Illinois. I'd love to investigate there, or like investigate his tomb or something like that. Something with him at Ford Theater. And then my other one would be I want to do like a real legit Civil War site. I want to do an investigation at a Civil War site.
That would be a good one.
Like field and or building. Just that, I think that would be so cool because I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
Gettysburg.
Yeah, I know. I've almost done it. I was like, I'll just go out there by myself and I'll just like pay for it and I'll just investigate the field by myself because I just want to do it so bad.
That's fine. I was just laughing at the presidential, the Lincoln thing. Yeah, Mandy's just like really big into like collecting like presidential like things like medals and stuff like that. So I was like, of course, I should have thought about that.
Heck yeah, man.
No, that's a great answer because like Lincoln's body got stolen multiple times, like grave robbers.
Yeah, they've moved him quite a bit. I mean, now thankfully he's safe.
Where is he?
He's in Illinois, in Springfield.
Oh,
I've been to his tomb. It's incredible. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we would make contact. I don't know if they've reincarnated. I'm not too sure. But how cool would it be to just be like, play a digital recorder and it's like, I'm Abraham Lincoln. Like I would just lose my mind. So
I just think it's funny. Our answers are very, very different. Yours was a little bit more like mature. Mine was like Playboy Mansion. So stupid.
See, but you work off of each other with that. Like, that's the thing. And you play, it works perfectly for you too. Like,
Yeah.
I would have said like Lincoln or something like that. I would have never thought the Playboy Mansion. I would have.
It's a good one though.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, to be fair.
She should hear.
But no, yeah. I feel like the Playboy Mansion is on the way to Springfield though. So I mean, yeah, we'll just hit them both up.
Yeah.
So are you guys planning like a road trip, kind of like what Project Fear does, to just hit multiple locations in a row and then?
Yeah, so that's what we kind of done last month. We done Klein Motel, Mizpah, and the Goldfield Hotel over 3 days, and just 3 days straight investigating, and that's a lot. It is a lot, but we both, work full-time jobs, so we only really have the weekends. But that being said, we're definitely planning. Like, we've definitely talked about doing Scotland. And maybe even like a England, Scotland, Ireland kind of thing in 2025. But we're really shooting for next year. But I think that we also have other places that we really do want to go in the US. I know that you have a lot of spots in Arizona.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm down for Arizona. Most places we're not fortunate like you, where we have to travel to get to these places. So tomorrow's investigation still in California, but it's a 7-hour drive. So it's, yeah, we kind of just have to work with what we have,
You could just stay at the haunted places, just sleep there,
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're staying at the haunted place tomorrow.
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited for when you guys like release wherever you're going. Because like I love your video. I got your YouTube pulled up. You're almost to 46,000 subscribers now. You've got 118 videos. Yeah, and you can tell going from your older videos to your newer videos, like, you have certainly matured as a paranormal investigator. Like, I look back, and I've only been doing it for a little over a year now. I look back at my stuff from last July, and I'm just like, can I delete this? Can I get rid of it?
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I'm doing for members right now is reviewing my first ever. Well, I've started with my first ever investigation, and I'm actually going back and filming my own reaction to these videos, and they are so cringy, but people are loving it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to keep making them because people actually are really enjoying this series. And yeah, it's just very cringy, and I'm shouting at myself on these episodes, what are you doing? The first episode, no joke, the first episode, and it's still on YouTube, is me going to this haunted hotel, and I'm getting I leave to investigate and then come back and turn my camera on in the room, and I'm like, so I've just investigated the entire hotel and this is what's happened. And I'm like I didn't even bring my camera around to film the activity. I just went there, experienced it, came back and told a story about it. Nobody wants to watch that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. Yeah, I'm going over a lot of these things where I'm like, wow, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that, I've definitely learned a lot from it.
And I just saw that you posted a week or two ago that you were looking for an editor, and now you got a new editor.
Yeah, I'm still editing the episodes as well. But I did just bring on an editor for the first time ever, which is very scary. But at the same time, we've just been filming non-stop. So I mean, I'm totally backdated now, and there's not enough time in the day anymore. So I figure, hire on an editor, and he also edits other paranormal shows and things like that. So it was very important to me to find an editor who is familiar with paranormal investigations. That's way he doesn't miss any EVPs or anything like that, and he has like an ear for it. So yeah, I mean, like, fingers crossed, this is the start of, like an actual, I don't know, like an actual like team, like a behind the scenes team as well. And just grow in and add in more people, hopefully, in the long run.
So you can quit your full-time jobs and just do this full-time. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great.
I don't know. It would be nice, but like, I also love that we get this is our vacation, This is our like fun time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like, work's work. And then this is like, it's still time consuming, but it's yeah.
See, I would be worried, and this is my thing. Like, I don't do this for money. Like, I have 54 subscribers on my YouTube.
Woo!
Woo! I mean, I write for the magazine, and yeah, I get paid, but it's not life-changing. Like, I can't even buy a tank of gas with it. But I'm not in it for the money, and I'm afraid that, like, if I like somehow get 1 million subscribers or whatnot, and like, I think my content would change.
Yeah.
To, like, the money would drive the content instead of content drive, like, so that would be my fear.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about passion. Like, that's honestly what it comes down to. I mean, I've been doing this for over 3 years now. Well, made the channel for I started the channel, 3 years ago. So from then to now, it's been such a slow but gradual climb. I feel like right now we're kind of at this weird like tipping area, because 46,000 subscribers, nobody ever really sees that. It's rather you got like 20,000 subscribers or like 100,000 subscribers. So it's going up in hundreds like every day, which is amazing. But at the same time, like, we're still out of pocket on these. This is not like this isn't paying like our rent or anything like that. This is a 100% passion project. And who knows where it's going to go. I think a lot of people see that number and think that, oh, they're making like big bucks from this, and it's not even true. But fingers crossed, hopefully one day. I mean, I ain't complaining if that happens. But again, like, I think if you can go at it for this long without, with making pennies basically, then I don't think that is going to change even when money does start coming in.
Yeah. I think if you had like overnight, if you had went from like 0 to 1 million, like, I think then for sure your objective would have changed completely.
Yeah.
But because it's been so gradual,
you're
still going to be you,
So when you get that 100,000, subscriber play button, are you guys going to have to fight over who gets?
No, it is hers. It's going to go on the wall.
That was the only thing when Mandy joined Ghost Club, and I'm like, listen, I do share. I'm a good sharer. Like, I'm a very like, I don't know. I'm like, everything like you need, like, I'm here for you. But that play button girl is mine.
You're gonna have a custody agreement, like, every other weekend.
Sign a contract.
I'll just like stick it on top of the scanner, and then we send
I want a copy.
And then, but the great thing is, you guys are going to be on a cover of a magazine together, so you don't even have to fight over that.
It's true. We each get our own copy.
No, that is something that I'm definitely going to reach out to YouTube though, because I do think that we are going to hit that goal. So it's all funny games like joking about it and stuff, but obviously, like, if surely they'll give you like 2, maybe they don't. I really don't know.
Only give 1. I just
don't
want a paper copy.
Well, Mandy comes over to my house all the time, so maybe when you stay here, I'll hang it up above the bed that you sleep
my
in.
guest room.
You enjoy it. That's so bad. No, we'll figure something out.
I would think they would have some way to order a second one. Be like, here you go. Because I think I saw something on YouTube. Somebody's like, you have to go, like they send you the email, hey, you qualify for the play button. And I know I will never get one. My son's like, oh, you'll get one someday. And I'm like, it's not gonna happen, buddy. And it's okay. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm not I love going to these old buildings, looking at the history, looking at these old buildings, communicating with the spirits, hearing their stories. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm scared of death. You know, I was an EMT. I saw death regularly, and I want to know what happens after I die. You know, that's I think everybody wants that answer. Some of us are more brave trying to find that answer.
Yeah.
1,000%. I mean, it's an ongoing question, you know? And I'm very, very positive, like that. I mean, I'm not afraid of the afterlife at all. Like that used to be a huge fear of mine when I was younger, was just dying in general, kind of morbid. But I mean, now, like, I know it's really helped me when pets die or family members pass away or, you know, and I feel like if I was ever given like terrible, terrible news and knew when I was going to go or something, I would be way more understanding and way more ready to pass on. So it really, really helps just with like the mind, body, and soul as well. Like doing this whole journey has really helped with that.
I find so my grandmother died back in June, and it was rough for me, but like I guess I had somewhat of a comfort, I guess, because I know that you're not done when you die. Like
right.
So I mean there's a comfort there.
Yeah. I have my own theories and like that I've came to conclusion to like from investigating, and the theory could change like in time. But I personally believe that when we do pass away, our soul splits up into many different pieces. And some of it goes on, like if you believe in the afterlife, like another part of you can go and like be regenerated into like another human and relive your life. But then I think that a lot of us, like a little piece might go to your happy place where you remember growing up as a child, where you spend a lot of time. Another piece may go to like the traumatic area, maybe something bad happened to you in this area. And I think that that's kind of like what these residual hauntings are. So there could be like one spirit in many different places at the same time, but also that piece of spirit can also be with family members, or you know, it can really essentially go anywhere it wants. But the spirit, I feel like, isn't just one solid thing. That's a short version.
That's a very good theory.
Not far off. You're not far off with that.
Thanks.
I like that.
I know. So let's hear it.
I mean, again, like I'm not
No,
like
but
it's just what I've kind of like, you know.
It's very
Tell me your thoughts.
Well, so I mean, again, I can't claim to know for sure, but just with my experiences with spirit and my own family members and all of that, that is true. A lot of religions also believe in this, but when you leave this earth, you know, you leave this earth, but pieces of your soul do kind of disperse, because at the end of the day, we're all energy. So pieces of our soul do stay behind in certain areas. But so you're very spot on with that. Yeah. Pieces of our soul stay behind. So, but at the end of the day, everybody has free will when they die. And so everyone has free will. So a lot of times, like if you encounter spirits at a location, at a haunted building, they are there for whatever the reason may be. They are choosing to be there. Whether they're inadvertently choosing, or they're still trying to figure out, they're still trying to accomplish something, or still trying to I know a lot of times you'll see like with traumatic deaths, people will kind of stay behind because they're still trying to process and understand what happened to them. But at the end of the day, we all have free will and we can all cross over to the other side. Now, the other side looks different for everybody, though. I have learned that there's so many various levels of the other side. I mean, I'm talking a lot of dimensions, a lot of just various levels to it. This earth is just, we're just here to learn our lessons and then go back up and evolve. And so I've learned not to be afraid of death because of that, because I know I'm just here for a short period of time to learn my lessons, to serve my karma, and then I'm going to go back up with my people, you know, and be with everybody that I love on the other side. So I just kind of have a different perspective of death. But yeah, a lot of times you will see the pieces of people left behind, and that does create the residual hauntings or yeah.
I think that's a pretty solid way to look at it. Yeah.
That is really deep.
Yeah, we get sometimes.
No, that was like that's very comforting though. Like, you know, yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get that deep, but I appreciate that. I'm still trying to take that all in. Like,
oh, I know it's a lot. I always try to, you know, I mean, death is scary. You know, if you think about it, yeah, it can be scary for sure. It's death, but at the end of the day, it's also it's not death. I mean, it's your physical death here in this planet, and you know, I believe that we all come here with a soul contract. You know, that's part of why we're here, is to evolve. So we all have soul contracts. We're all here for. We've chosen our lives basically for the most part, what we're gonna do, how we're going to do it, when we're going to leave here. And so it's like, all right, well, if I die, then I finish my contract and I'm going back home, and I can't freaking wait, to be back up where I truly belong. So I always think of Earth as like the waiting period, just the trial period, your school, so to say.
And another thing, this is a little bit off topic as well, but with like one thing that I've been like very like, whoa, really blew my mind was when my nana had dementia. And that was insane because she was still alive, but she was kind of half in and half out. And she was back in Scotland whilst I was over here in California. And she, for a couple of years, was coming to me in my dreams, and it would be this big, bright white room, and she would be so happy and showing me like, look who I'm with, like, look, I'm with my sister, or look, I'm with your granddad. And she was always so happy. And so she was just coming to me and being like, oh, look who I met on the other side today. And she was just kind of like getting situated in this afterlife of hers. And it got so spooky to the point where she would come visit me, and my mom would be talking to her in the hospital, and she would be kind of like saying things, and people didn't really know if, it was just like the dementia. She's like, oh, I'm going to go visit Jade tonight. And then she would just burst into song. And then in my dream, she's singing that song, and she visited me that night. And it's just like those things, like I didn't ever know that she said that kind of thing. Anyway, there was just so many times like that. It just made me go, she's traveling to me and telling me these things. How can that be if she's still alive? So this whole new kind of thought process of dementia is just, when they're half in and half out is bizarre. And the night she died I just kept on dreaming that I was dying. And it was the worst sleep that I ever got. And then when I opened my eyes, and it was pitch dark in the room, there was just these little white orbs at the bottom of the bed twinkling. And I like nudged my fiance, and he woke up and he saw them at the bottom of the bed. And then they just kind of like disappeared. And then after that, like I went back to sleep. My nana came to me, told me that she was doing okay. There was a problem with her lungs. I fall asleep fully. I wake up in the morning. I get that call. Apparently she had pneumonia. And I never knew that she had pneumonia, but that's how she passed away. It was in her lungs. And it's just, right up to her like moment of passing, all of this was all fed to me from her. So just the afterlife in general, like I have so much reason to believe other than just investigations, but actual personal, experiences, that there is so much more to the afterlife. And I think it's way freaking cooler than this.
Yeah.
I think that we've kind of been dealt the short end of the straw here on Earth, but we're gonna make the most of it,
You gotta have fun with it. I mean,
Yeah.
That's why I do the paranormal. Like I genuinely have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
meeting people. It's a community.
Yeah.
And Mandy, I don't know if Jade told you, but so I'm writing an article. Actually, I've already written the article, and it's going to be in our November. It's women breaking down gender roles in the paranormal community.
Mandy.
So
I'm like,
and because you do see it like on the TV shows, or like on the big YouTube. I would consider you guys a big YouTube channel, but you really don't see a lot of women.
mm-mm.
No. Project Fear's got Chelsea. Ghost Hunters has got
everybody has a supporting woman, but nobody has a lead woman.
Yes.
That is a problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to interview a friend. She runs a Facebook page. She's a paranormal manager for this paranormal location. And I'm interviewing her, and I'm just sitting here like, I should totally change up the article and talk, because she's talking about she struggles, and then she sees these guys that fake evidence and do stupid stuff get a ton of views, and she's not worried about views, but why do those people get the attention, and then people like you guys, or you ladies, do stuff that's raw, genuine, and you're not getting that same attention? So I decided to switch gears, and I interviewed her. I interviewed another psychic. She's out of Missouri. Her name's Cassie. And then I interviewed an all-female team out of North Carolina. It's 3 sisters and their mom. And then I interviewed the owner of the Bell Mansion, Angie. So it's a female-owned paranormal location, but you don't see a lot of diversity in the paranormal community.
Mm-hmm.
You're starting to see more, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
Do you feel, as a female, that you're not getting enough credit for your work?
I personally don't feel that way. I have always been one that will run with the boys and be like, well, I can do this just as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually been like a big motivation for me, even as a child, just being a tomboy running with the boys and being like, well, I can do what you can do. And I was brought up with like a very strong grandfather in my life who was just like, she can do it all. So I've it's exciting for me to go through this and not really know how to do it, trying to figure it out, as a woman in the paranormal field. If it's not really been done before, well, let's figure it out,
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree with you though. I do think that there's much more men in the paranormal field, but that's not gonna deter me. It's not going to deter you either. I know how you feel about that too.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so I have a daughter as well. She's 18 months old, and I know that she is going to want to do what I do. and do paranormal investigations and stuff. And I want her to have strong female role models in the community that she can be like, they can do it, I can do it too. And you know, there's probably some girl, you know, little girl out there or a young woman that's like scared to do the paranormal because she sees all these guys do it and she's afraid that she's going to fail. But then you guys are fairly successful in it, you know, so that's what I want to highlight, the you know, the positivity out there, like, hey, these people can do it just as well or actually even better than a lot of them, you know. So
yeah, I mean, I appreciate you doing that because it's important. It's important to talk about this. And I mean, it's been like this for so long, right? I mean, men basically started this field in a lot of ways in terms of like TV shows and ghost TV shows and all of that. And it made it really hard for women to penetrate through that and to get through. And I think what I've noticed is, at least in my experience, for the majority, everyone's been great and nice. But I'm not going to lie, I have encountered quite a few men in the paranormal field who have been, you know, a little bit on the, like, well, I'm the lead. You know, they take on that patriarchal role. And I've noticed a lot of times I've been kind of silenced or pushed down, and that irritates me so much because at the end of the day, we are just as capable, if not more capable, as a man to do this. And nothing against the men that are in the paranormal field. A lot of them are really great people. We've met so many of them, and they're wonderful. It just would be nice if we could also be right up there with them. You know, our stuff is just as good. The evidence is just as good. And you know, I've been talking about this with Jade for a really long time. It's just that if there are female leads, you don't really know about them because they're on the smaller end of the smaller scale of things. Or if there's a female, she's led by a male. And it's just, at some point that has to change. At some point, we have to be able to let women take the lead, or at least try to let us, you know, take the lead and let us step up. So I do appreciate you bringing light to the subject.
Yeah,
and the irony is not lost on me, being a you know, a white cisgendered male, you know, writing about gender equality in the paranormal community. But I feel like I have a duty and a responsibility as a journalist and as a member of the paranormal community to help pull up, you know, these strong, I mean, that's the wrong phrase. Like, you don't need pulled up, but like the spotlight needs to be focused on you, because it's not being focused because of certain people in the paranormal community.
I mean, if I were to, you know, write an article or talk about it, it would be like, oh, I'm like, here we go. I mean, if I were to write an article, say I took your article and I put it out there, they're going to be like, ugh, like, we don't need to hear from this girl, you know? But if you do it, people will be like, oh, this is interesting. And that's just how it is. You know, a lot of times people take men more seriously than women. You know, men can scream and get excited on their, you know, during their investigations and not have a single word said. But if we scream, it's like, oh, calm down. Oh, you're too excited. And it's very frustrating, this what we have to deal with in comparison to some people, and some in the male gender.
It's very frustrating, for sure.
Frustrating.
Yeah, specific, you know, like YouTube comments specifically as well.
I was just gonna ask that. You probably get quite a few nasty comments because, oh, you're a female.
Oh,
type.
Yes, lots of comments are, you know, I mean, majority of the comments are so overwhelmingly positive. and it's amazing. There are a lot of women who have come forward and just been like, yes, more girl power, more females. This is awesome. And we love that. And then there's some other comments from, you know, some people that are like, you know, talking about our appearances in a nasty way, or telling us to calm down, and, you know, and telling us how we should do things. And it's just like, would you tell a man that? I don't know, you know, and I'm not one to claim like feminism, and, you know, I don't openly talk about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But this is something that has just really come up, trying to, especially joining Jade and trying to like break through that glass ceiling, is just that, just the differences between male teams and female teams.
And I will say this as well, like, we're no Powerpuff Girls or anything like that. Like, I've tried to work with men in the past and have them join into Ghost Club, and I've always had this idea of Ghost Club being a team, and it seems like a majority of these guys who I do bring in, there's something just not quite sitting right, and it doesn't ever, I mean, like, I'm not talking about collaborations, like actual people like coming to join though. It never really like works out the way I would like. And it always feels like, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, it always feels like they try and take over. That's like one of the biggest things that I keep finding is people are like, oh, thanks for all your hard work, Jade. Get off to the sides, kind of thing like that. And it's been really, really, really challenging. And I've never really worked with, other than collaborating with other females, I've never like properly been like, okay, like as a team member, like let's work together. Until Mandy, and like I was like, oh my gosh, like why have I not asked Mandy to join sooner than this? Like this makes so much sense, and it just is so easy and so natural. And yeah, so I mean, as I said, I was brought up a total tomboy, so I'm just like, the way that I look at all of this is just, let's give them a run for their money and just be the best baddies we can be. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're doing an amazing job. Like you're some of the top creators in the paranormal community, as far as it's in the YouTube realm of things. Like you don't see a lot. I mean, you see a lot of paranormal stuff on YouTube, but you guys you're in the top tier of, you know, based on subscribers, views, things like that. So you're going in the right direction, and I'm hoping this article helps push you guys, you know, even further. Like you guys are going to be on the cover of a magazine, like be like, yay, look at this, you know, there's going to be no males on the cover. It's two very strong females in the paranormal community. That's what we want. And I was, when you, Jade, when you were out of the room before we started recording, I told Mandy, I just recently interviewed another all-female team out of Wisconsin. They were actually all members of a different team, and kind of the same thing. They wanted to, have their own control. And when they formed this team, and their first, their thing was, everyone gets a vote, everyone gets an equal say in how things are done, and Mandy got a kick out of their name. Their name is the Wisconsin Apparition Tracking Society.
That's a long name.
It stands for twats.
Oh, of course. Oh, I'm so slow. I'm so slow.
I saw them, like they're just starting out, just within the last year, and I saw them, and I'm like, I gotta interview these ladies, because their stuff is just phenomenal, and that name too. It just, like,
so good.
I sent a message to my editor, and I'm like, I want to interview this team, and he's like, do it. Like, so and what's great about this magazine is our editor-in-chief, Alicia. She's a Black female, so like that's even more diversity, which you don't see a lot of in the paranormal community as well. So it's great that I work for her, and she's allowing me to follow this project. And I guess your article obviously is going to be a cover article, but it's going to turn into more women in the paranormal community that are just trying to break through the all male barrier that is the paranormal community.
Yeah.
And I think that what I've noticed too with that is because there are so few women, the women that are there, it almost kind of feels like we're competing against each other to be seen and to be heard. And it's like, I don't like that. At the end of the day, we all have the same goal, I mean, it's just, we just want to come out here. We want to investigate. We want to have fun. And we want to be seen and heard in the same way that our male counterparts are. That's all. We all, I mean, at the end of the day, does it matter if we're a female or a male? We're all here to ghost hunt, and, I hope that we can kind of start paving that way for other women and men too, to be like, yeah, you know what? I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it,
Yeah.
And that's always been a dream of mine. It's just like this,
to inspire people,
yeah,
is insane.
Exactly.
The fact that we even hold that in our hands, that's a lot. And that's it's kind of crazy when you put it like that. It is a lot, but we do. That's one thing that really does outweigh the negative comments and things like that. When you actually look at it in a greater perspective and see how many people that we've inspired to go out and do this and all that, is just it's mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and it shouldn't be man or woman. We're all in the paranormal community, but right now women are, like we've said, are kind of being held back or not as taken as seriously. That needs to change, and the playing field needs to be level for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many great female investigators, so many great ones, and you just don't see them. Or I mean, they're out there, but you don't see them and you don't hear them, and it sucks because they're getting really good evidence and they're really great investigators. And
another thing as well, and this is from a few female investigators that I know who are absolutely phenomenal. They have been basically, other people will say that they're sleeping with the male investigators to get more subscribers or to get higher up, which is insane. As it's weird to me that that's where people's minds go to, is that person is success, or that female is successful in what they do. There must be something to it. Oh, that she's been hanging about with that other investigator YouTuber for a while, stuff like that.
Yep.
It's very, very weird, and it's unnecessary for sure.
It is, and then it's insulting, and it takes away from the work that they are doing. Like Mandy, you brought up the women in the field are competing with each other. They're not supposed to be competing, but a lot of them are competing with each other. But here's the thing: the women that are on the top, they're collaborating with each other.
Yeah,
that's the thing. People on the top collaborate. The people on the bottom, they fight for attention. And I've seen, personally, women from different teams locally here in Indiana, collaborate with each other, and they get some of the greatest evidence, and they're not fighting each other for, attention, and they're taking the community seriously. And that's a problem, not just women, but men in this community as well. There's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
A lot. And obviously I write for a magazine, so I'm, kind of in the drama sometimes because I'm writing about the drama or whatnot. And I have, I got drug into a drama with, Paranormal Encounters with India and Connor. India's been in a lot of lot of drama situations, and I got a couple of emails, about it, and I approached them, wanting a comment, and then two of my friends now, Sky and Cassie, I was telling them, that I was going to do this article about it, and they're like, no, that's just more drama in the community. So I reached back out to Connor and India, and I was like, listen, I'm not going to do the story. I apologize. That's not what I want to do. Like, I don't want to write, I want to, help you guys out. So if you guys ever want an article, I can get you guys a cover on the magazine type situation, just I'm here. And they're like, absolutely, just right now is not a good time. But like I feel like like I said, I've been in the drama, but I want to write about the positive things and let the drama die off. And the people that are starting the drama, I think honestly we need to start ignoring them.
Yeah. Sign. Sorry.
Yes. No, like
this conversation earlier.
So it's like a cancer. They're like a cancer to the paranormal community, and we need to just or a parasite. They're a parasite, and we just need to starve them off, and they'll wither away, and it'll allow the more positive groups and investigators shine. That's what we need as a community, and that's why I have now decided I'm going to devote my time one article a month, just writing about a team. It doesn't matter if they have 46,000 subscribers or 100. That's I want to take everybody's on the same level. Like that's just because you guys get a ton of views and you guys are semi-famous. I wouldn't say semi. I would say you guys are both famous in the paranormal community. Like your names are said quite a bit. So like I wouldn't.
Who would say this? Starting all this drama all of a sudden? No.
No, like
he doesn't know what to do with me, sorry.
No, like, but that team that I interviewed out of Wisconsin, last week, you guys are no more important than they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I, because I was talking to Lauren, that she does their social medias, and I had contacted them on Instagram, and I was like, hey, listen, these are kind of the people, like when I was explaining who I am, I was like, these are the people that I've interviewed or are in the process of interviewing, but I don't hold them any more important than you. Like your article is just as important as theirs. Like, so I think if we as a paranormal community start doing that, I think things will get better for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like for Ghost Club anyway, like, I've collaborated with a lot of people, but I've also collaborated with people who don't even have YouTube channels. Like, I mean, again, at the end of the day, like, it's for fun. If you're not having fun, like, why do it, I think I've told you, I don't know if I've told you this before, Cody, but I used to have a friend when I very first started off with Ghost Club. I had a friend who was in YouTube and they got obsessive with things. And the second you start to get obsessive with things, you just basically self-destruct. And I knew when I started the journey, like, that's not what I'm going to do ever. And I stuck to that. And I think that it's just, again, like, I totally agree with you. It's not about how many followers you have or anything like that. It's really not. Like, it's about if you're a good freaking person, like, to be completely honest. Yeah. And that is the hardest thing to find in the community. As I said, everybody's trying to top each other. And it's really difficult to find like actual genuine friends in the community. who are there to support you and cheer you on and not talk behind your back, or because let's be fair, there's a lot of drama in the paranormal community.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm at the point now where it's just like, I don't even really want to talk about the drama and stuff like that, because again, as you said, it doesn't serve any purpose. And, you know, once I learned to completely ignore it, like, my life got so much easier.
Mhm.
And same thing happened to me. Like, when I was going through some drama, one of my friends' massive YouTube channel was about to leak all of this stuff onto like a paranormal drama channel, like his paranormal drama channel. And I was like, excuse me, like, I thought we were friends. Like, I really don't appreciate that. If you want to go ahead and do that, like, I'm going to leave that in your ball court. But I mean, just know that I don't appreciate that. And he responded back like, okay, yeah, you're totally right. I'm not going to put it out. And that's the way that it should be handled. And I'm so glad that he didn't, because that would have caused so much more just BS. That, I mean, that stuff is like, also, by the way, like, very, very, it can really mess with a person's heads.
Yeah.
Like online bullying, all that kind of stuff. I know I'm going on a rampage. It's been a hard week.
No, I totally get it. Like, that's what Sky and Cassie did to me. They're like, listen, if you write this article, we're gonna cut ties with you. Like, we don't want to be part of the drama. We want to push positivity, and it was like a wake up moment. Now, here's the thing: I'll still write articles like if a location's doing something bad or somebody's doing something bad, and like a call out article, like Ghost Hunts USA, like, you know, how they closed down and, you know, took those people's money. Like, I'll write stuff like that, but like the interpersonal drama stuff, that has no place in the paranormal community, has no place in the magazine, in my opinion.
Right.
So I'm not even going to touch that. You know, I want to, you know, highlight people. And that's why, again, I'm sitting here talking to you ladies, because you guys are positivity. You're genuine. I keep saying it, genuine. You're raw. Like, you're legit. Like, you don't fake stuff for views. You don't even care about views. Like, you're not even making money off of it. So, I mean,
right.
So, like, why would you fake it if you're not even making any money off of it? Like,
there is money being made off of it, but it literally goes straight back into buying the location and stuff like that, gas, all this stuff. But
we still are
out of pocket. We're still out of pocket, and we still put like half of our money into it. So it is like, you know, it could be something. Or I guess, I don't know. It could be something. I'm grateful for monetization. Otherwise, like, we really wouldn't be able to put this many episodes out without people watching. That's a huge thing. But yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it might take us another couple of years before we can buy ourselves a.
We are manifesting.
Yeah, I know.
We are manifesting.
You're manifesting. It's
We're manifesting.
You know, positive thing. Like, here's the thing: I didn't realize, I had no intention to writing for a paranormal magazine. I had just decided, so I had left EMS, so I went from paramedicine to the paranormal. You know, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a story about that, and I wrote it, and I sent it to a couple of magazines. And Paranormality said, "Hey, we love this story, but it's only like 750 words. Can you flush it out to about 1,500 words?" And I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." And they're like, "Oh, by the way, do you want to come write for us?" So I'm like,
happens. Yeah.
I never thought of myself as a writer, but like, I then, you know, I said, you know what? I'm gonna start messaging people, getting interviews. That's the type of articles that I want to do. And here I am. I took a chance and sent Jade a message. I was like, hey, I want to, you know, do an interview for the magazine. Do you want to do it? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. She was like really quick to respond and everything. So it's like,
desperate, some would say. No, I'm kidding.
What was that?
I said desperate, some would say.
No. Yes, me
It
desperate.
was no, me. Oh my gosh. Okay. No, it
I'm
was
desperate.
genuinely like I love it. I love talking. Like I could talk for days. Like I love getting to know other people's stories. You know, it's actually kind of therapeutic after a interview sometimes where when you talk things out, you feel so much better. And when you talk about certain things, I remember we were talking about YouTube and how much it's grown. And, that was like, I left, like, last time we talked about it, when you were like, oh, like, congratulations on your YouTube channel. It was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I really do appreciate that because sometimes I forget, like, the hard work that we put into this is like, there's something to show for it and it's really cool. So, no, I appreciate that as well.
Like, I get excited when I get like 20 views on a video. I'm like, yes, double digits, so like.
Well, I mean, I've even had like fans reach out. I don't really like using the word fans, but these people that generally do watch Ghost Club 24/7. Every episode that goes out, they're like on it, and I love those people. But yeah, I like get a message from them just asking, can we do a Zoom call meeting? Can we just talk to you for a couple hours? And I'm like, sure. Like, it's not even recorded for anything. Like, I'll take that time and I will talk to people because, I mean, that's one of my favorite things about this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not editing the episodes for nothing, I mean, I love to hear people's feedback. And
I mean, the last time I interviewed you, we talked for an hour after the interview got done?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know, yeah.
And we're almost at 2 hours on this one too. So yeah. So it's just
talkers.
Is there anything else you ladies want to share before we end this interview?
I mean, to be honest, by the time this interview comes out, who knows where we're going to be? Like that's the craziness of this all. It's such a roller coaster. And when we met each other, I would never have thought that we were going to be sitting here doing interviews or being on cover of a magazine or anything like that. Like, it's really, really cool. Who knows what the future holds? I hope I'm still around.
So I told Mandy, I told Mandy, I was like, so I interviewed Jade and then I sent the recording to my editor, and like 2 hours, 3 hours later, he's like, you're going to have to hold the interview. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because we want to put her on the cover, So I'm like, oh, okay. Yes, I'm pretty sure. And then I sent you the email. Hey, I got some good news and bad news. We're going to have to hold your article. And that's because you're getting the cover. So, I wish it wasn't so far out though.
Yeah.
But it takes.
You sent me that, and then I instantly texted Mandy and I said, well, I guess I'm just going to have to add cover girl to my resume now. And yeah, that was really cool. And I appreciate that. And that means like a lot to me because, that just goes to show that some people like me out there. I know that people like me. But there is a lot of comments on YouTube of people who don't like me either. So, I mean, it is a huge compliment when somebody wants, something like that.
Yeah.
And you as well. Like, I mean, you guys
are being stoked to be here.
You guys are so sweet, like, reached out and said, you know what, Mandy is part of your team now, because this is a recent thing. It's going to be, I mean, like, if this comes out in January, then Mandy's been at Ghost Club for a while. But, I mean, like, the past few months we've just kind of been, like, falling into this, like, trying to figure it out as we're going along. Some things have been working, some things haven't. And, I think the main thing is just, like, we are a team right now. So the fact that even, like, you guys called back and said, no, we want Mandy as well. Like, and that was just so cool. So, yeah.
That was me. That wasn't even the mag. That was 100% me. I was like, you know what? Now that she's getting the cover, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it proper. Because when I interviewed you the first time, it was like a day or two before Mandy's first episode was to be released.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? you know, people are gonna be like, well, why wasn't Mandy as part of the
Right.
interview? So let's look.
And I told her too, I said, I am so freaking excited for you. Like, I will always be happy for anything that she does. And I was like, you grace that cover and you do it big. So I had no like expectation or anything, but I am still grateful to be here.
Yeah.
So.
I was looking forward to gloating points. I was gonna, next time you stay at my house, I was gonna put a copy of it with just my face on it, like next to your bed with a little mint on top.
Make sure you read it.
But that's okay, because now it's both of us. And I'm very, very thankful for
But
Mandy.
yeah, you guys, of course you ladies have fans. Like I said in the email, my friend Sky was jealous. She's like, I followed her for forever. She's so I had emailed Jade. I was like, my friend Sky, you know, was jealous I got to interview you, and Jade messaged back, tell Sky I said hey. So and I screenshotted that to Sky.
That's awesome.
So
a shout out to Sky, what a legend.
There you go.
I love it.
Mandy, you get the final word.
My hope is that we are booked so much for this upcoming year with investigations, and I'm hopeful that we will be doing public investigations as well. And yeah, I just hope that Ghost Club is just thriving and doing big things, and I hope we're having fun.
Yeah. We want a new like car as well.
Yeah,
like
we need a new Ghost Club car.
My car is fine, but it's kind of like a little bit of it's not cool enough.
Preferably a Bronco.
Yeah. We need like a Bronco or something like that to like hit the desert road with. I'm manifesting that too.
We have a lot of big plans.
Yeah.
Big goals. So.
I'm in Scotland in 2025.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
So.
It's gonna happen. I have faith in you ladies. It's gonna happen.
You know, every goal that we've set ourselves, like we've hit every single goal. And even before Mandy joined Ghost Club, like I've hit every single goal I've set myself. That's, I think, the biggest key is to just be realistic about things. Very small, gradual steps is how you'll get the best results, for sure.
And you're getting them. You're absolutely getting them.
Slowly but surely.
Jade and Mandy, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm excited to see what 2024 brings to you guys. It's gonna be a good year.
Hopefully lots of spooks.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. I'm gonna end the recording.